What if your code could remember where it left off? Generators can do just that. One keyword, yield, changes everything. Hello coders, welcome to my channel. I'm David, your guide to mastering programming. First, let's see the definition of generators. Generator is a function that returns an iterator object. Creating a generator is no different from creating a function. You need to write the keyword def, then write the name of your generator and open the parentheses. Here, I'll write a simple function that iterates through elements in range from 0 to 5. Then I want to yield them. Yield is a special keyword that returns a value. The only difference between a generator and a function is this yield keyword, which I will show you in detail how it works. Now, when I say a is gen, now this a will be a generator and not some kind of function. I mean, not just a function. Now, when I print type of a, you will see that a is a generator but not a regular function. As you can see, it prints that a is generator. Now, if I want to get all the elements from this a, I can't simply write a because you will see in a moment what happens. It says that it's a generator object gen at and then some memory location. To tell Python that I want to get the elements from that location, I need to write this star sign. As you can see, first 5 elements are printed. Also, another way of iterating through these elements is with for I in a print I. Now again, all 5 elements will be printed, as you can see. 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4 are printed. Important thing to mention is that generator creates objects lazily, which means it creates them only when they are needed and can only be iterated through once. So I iterated them here once, and if I print them, print asterisk a, this will be empty. As you can see, empty line is printed here. Also, you don't have to iterate through all the elements using this for. You can iterate through them with a special function that's called next. When I print next a, this function will print where this a left off. Now you need to know what I mean by that. Yield is a special return. It returns the value to a caller, but when I enter this generator again, it resumes where this yield left off, which means when I return this I to this A, I can again come to this function and I will start from this third line and go down. So when I go down, there is nothing, then I come back to this 4. Then again, I return I, then again, I come again to this second line. So when I print here next a, this will print me the first element in my sequence, which is 0. As you can see, 0 is printed. But if I here print next a, this will print me the first element, I mean the second element of the sequence, because that's where we left off. The 0 is printed, now the 1 should be returned. As you can see, 0 and 1. Also, important thing to mention is when I call this next function more times than there is elements in a generator, the stop iteration error will be called, which means that I want to get the element, but that it doesn't exist. I called this next 6 times, but my generator can only generate 5 elements, so this will call stop iteration error. As you can see, it called stop iteration error. You don't have to yield just some data type like integer or some kind of iterable types like lists. You can also yield classes, functions, or generators. But I will show you how to yield a generator because there is some specifics to it. For example, if I want to yield 1 and yield 2, and then I want to create my M generator that will first yield these two elements, then yield 3, I need to write for I in then gen, and then yield I, then yield 3. So first, this will yield these two elements. I will be first 1, then I will be 2, and then they all will be yielded here, one by one. And afterwards, this yield 3 will be called. I will create a to be equal to my gen, and then I will for I in a, and then print I. So now I expect to see 1, 2, 3. As you can see, 1, 2, and 3 are printed. But to do that, I here need to write a for loop. So this is used very often. That's why programmers created a simpler way that will be clearer and also easier to write. You don't have to write some for loop or some while loop or I don't know what. You can simply write yield from gen. This is the same as the code before, but as you can see, it only took me one line to code, where before I needed two lines plus I needed to use loop. So this yield from will first yield these two numbers, and when these two numbers are yielded, then these three will be yielded. As you can see, again, 1, 2, and 3 are printed just like before. Now, you're probably wondering why would you use generators? You can just use lists. Generators are used when you have some large data and you don't want to store all of the data at once, but rather process it piece by piece. This way, your code is more memory efficient. For example, when you want to register a car in some country, there could be millions and millions of cars. And you don't want to store all the possible plates in a list because that will take a lot of space. You just need to know the next combination that is available. That's the perfect use case for generators. I will show you how that can look like. I know plates can have characters as well, but I will just work with numbers so the code is simpler and you can understand it better. For example, def plates, and here for I in range 1000, here yield I. No, I want to have 4 zeros. So here I can write F and then write I and format it in a way so that first zeros are printed and aligned to the right. And I want 4 characters in total. Here I'll write 100,000 like here. Perfect. And now I will have A to be equal to my generator. For example, I want to, let's say, simulate that I registered first, I don't know, 3,000 vehicles. I wrote here this underscore because I don't need the exact number. I just want to tell that I already registered those 300 vehicles. I mean 3,000 vehicles. For example, 3,000 here and now next A. This way I will iterate through those plates. And now here I can print next A. So now when I run this code, as you can see, I only tell that the 3000 number is available for my plates. Also, now I can also print for the next one, next A, and this will print me 3000 and first. As you can see, 3001 is the next combination of numbers that's available for my vehicles. This works perfectly and it does job, but if I wrote, for example, here, print list A. Now when I print this, first it prints type error. Now I need to write Yes. As you can see, it prints stop iteration. Why? As I have told you before, generators are lazy, which means they can only be iterated through once. Here, I iterated through all of them, but the next time I want to iterate through them again, and that's not possible. And as you can see here, look at how much memory I have taken. Where before, in my previous code, I just wrote the plate that is available. I hope you found this video helpful. Like and subscribe for more coding content. See you in my next video. Until then, keep coding.